So the other day I went to a sewing class, which we made some bags and some nice things. But I'm left with all these leftover bits of fabric, so I'm gonna see if I can use those to make fish to go with the either with the nets that I've been cleaning up and adding shells to, or to hang from another one of the wall hanging things that I have, but a bigger one potentially, but with fish hanging from it and shells instead of painted bits. So yeah, that's a potential idea. Either that or just have the fish go in the nets. I'm just sewing all of these little bits together. So I've sewn all of these bits together, and now I'm going to make them into a fish. So I made a pattern, and then I drew around the pattern onto the fabric. Put the other side, flipped it over so that I got the other side, and then I started sewing the two sides together. So this is it now, and I've left a gap so I can turn it the right way through again, and I might also make little fins for the bottom. I've made two little fins and I've put them in here, and I've sewn them in. I turned them inside out and put them inside. So now I'm going to turn it the right way through. I've just turned the fish the right way through, and this is how it looks right now. It's flat. I'm going to stuff it a little bit so that it's no longer flat, and then I'm going to sew it shut. So I've done the same thing again. We've got another fish that I'm going to turn the right way through. So I'm experimenting with how I'm going to display the shark, and I've got this, which I kind of want to hang underneath the shark on the shark stand, but I'm going to have to work out how to do that. So, yes. If it's strong enough, we might be able to use that piece. Yeah. So I've drawn around a picture of a starfish that I drew, and then I cut it out, and then sewing it next. So I drew around, I drew out a starfish, and I drew cut it out, and then I drew around that shape, but made it a little bit bigger, so I've got a seam allowance. Drew around it onto the fabric. Now I'm cutting the fabric out. Then I will do another one exactly the same, and then I will sew it together, all except for a little space like here, and then I will turn it inside out, and then I will stitch up that little space. So I gave a seam allowance to my thing, cut it out twice, put them together, stitched them around, left a little space right here to turn it the right way through, and then once I've turned it the right way through and stuffed it a bit, then I'm going to stitch up that little hole. So now I've turned the starfish the right way through. I'm going to stuff it. So I've stuffed it, so now all that's left to do is to sew up the little hole there. And then it'll be a complete starfish. So I've been making up little fish out of scrap fabric. It's just whatever I have. I cut it up. I just line it up and I sew it together. So any of the cut up little scraps that haven't been used. And then I go into my stash of buttons and I find a button to sew on for the eyes. So I've just been doing that a whole bunch. And then attaching them to this that will be hung underneath the shark. And I've been doing the same thing, making starfish. And these are crocheted seaweed. Stuffed it, now I'm gonna sew it. I'm stitching these on to the woven ocean. That's what I've named this piece.